Malaysia's biggest agro exhibition, Maha, is back. Bring your family to discover the agriculture, horticulture, and agritourism with exciting attractions and live performances by your favorite artists. Maha 2026, 28th August to 6th September at My Ipserdap.
Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim has found himself in the middle of the continued geopolitical dispute between China and Taiwan. This came following his remarks on the matter. Meanwhile, DAP leaders said that the party's red line for quitting the government is not yet defined. Stay tuned for this and more on KiniNews. Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim has drawn a strong response from Taiwan over comments he made about the ongoing geopolitical dispute between China and Taiwan.
In an interview with Al Jazeera recently, Anwar had expressed support for the One China policy. When asked about Taiwanese people who reject Chinese rule, Anwar said historical factors had to be considered but maintained that Taiwan is part of China and that the matter should ultimately be left to the Chinese. When asked by the host if he wouldn't empathize with Taiwanese people who reject authoritarian rule, Anwar said he has empathy for many issues, but the issue involves condoning the division of a legitimate independent country. He was then asked whether he would condemn China's position that it could use force if reunification with Taiwan could not be achieved peacefully. In response, Anwar pointed to Malaysia as an example, saying that if a state decided to separate from the country, he would also try to prevent it. When the interviewer pressed him on whether that could include the use of force, Anwar said yes, arguing that otherwise the country could become fragmented. However, Anwar countered by asking why people always talk about and focus on the situation in China but rarely discuss the internal issues of many European countries, the United States or Africa. Taiwan's foreign ministry has since hit back, accusing Anwar of making false and misleading remarks that undermine Taiwan's sovereignty. It reiterated that Taiwan considers itself an independent and sovereign country and said it is not subordinate to China. It also warned that remarks like these could jeopardize peace in the region and also undermine the confidence of Taiwanese businesses investing in Malaysia.
DAP has voted to remain in the federal government during its Congress on Sunday. However, the party's exact red line for remaining in or exiting the coalition government is still unclear.
In an episode of KiniTV's Explain Sikit podcast, DAP's Central Executive Committee member Sheikh Umar Bagharib Ali said that the party Congress had sent a clear message. This was for the party to strengthen its push for its agenda while continuing to work within the current administration. He said any further discussion on a red line would need to go through the CEC.
Jadi kalau tanya kepada saya di manakah garis merah, saya rasa perkara itu harus diperincikan lagi. Mungkin Syah pun boleh bersetuju dengan saya. Perlu diperincikan di dalam mesyuarat CEC dan saya yakin selepas daripada itu peringkat seterusnya ialah Majlis Presiden Pakatan Harapan dan dibawa ke dalam kabinet kerajaan pada hari ini. Tetapi untuk menjadi garis merah, kalau dimaksudkan jika melanggar sesuatu perkara ini, maka kita retreat semula, kita menarik sokongan untuk duduk dalam kerajaan. Saya rasa bukan itu isu dia. Kerana mandat yang telah diberikan semula melalui persidangan 2026 ini, iaitu perwakilan ahli akad umbi mahu kita tingkatkan perjuangan kita tetapi dalam kerangka bersama-sama dengan pentadbiran pada hari ini.
Meanwhile, Shah Alam DAP Chief Shakir Amir Mohidin said that DAP's immediate priority is delivering its manifesto promises and rebuilding voter confidence. When contacted, he said that for now the party has no plans to leave the cabinet. However, he added that party leaders could consider a different approach at the next general election if the promised reforms are not delivered. Shakir also said that DAP's red line has been the same from the start: no abuse of power, no corruption.
Meanwhile, an UMNO leader has hit out at DAP for pushing Putrajaya to speed up reforms after they decided to remain in the federal government. UMNO Supreme Council member Razlan Rafi criticized the approach, saying this is not how coalition partners should operate.
In a statement, he said the resolution passed at DAP's annual Congress on Sunday should be a clear message that the party supports the current government in the interest of stability. Razdan argued that as a government partner, DAP should respect established government processes. He said the party must show discipline and raise its demands through the proper channels, namely the cabinet. According to Razlan, ministers publicly pressuring the government could create the impression that the unity government has an opposition within its own ranks. He also reminded DAP that reform initiatives must be discussed through the established government processes, saying that rushing major initiatives could have serious implications and potentially result in flawed policies. From now on, you can also listen to KiniNews on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Scan the QR code on the screen to follow us.
Back to Anwar, the Prime Minister ordered for an immediate investigation into a fatal crash involving an immigration department lorry. Anwar said any negligence or legal violations must be dealt with without compromise.
In a post on Facebook, Anwar also conveyed his condolences to the victims' families. The incident occurred at around 1 a.m. on Jalan Sultan Ismail in Kuala Lumpur. Bernama reported that the collision happened at the Maju Junction traffic light intersection. A 53-year-old man and his two daughters, aged 25 and 12, died at the scene after reportedly being hit by the immigration department lorry. The man's 55-year-old wife suffered injuries to her head, both arms and both legs, and is currently receiving treatment at Kuala Lumpur Hospital. According to police, the unladen Isuzu Black Maria was traveling from the Kuala Lumpur Immigration Office to Chowkit. The lorry was reportedly heading there for an operation against undocumented migrants.
UMNO Youth Chief Akmal Saleh has hit back at Pakatan Harapan, accusing them of calling UMNO two-faced and backstabbers, only to come knocking when the Malacca election is around the corner.
The remarks came after Pakatan Harapan Secretary General Saifuddin Nasution Ismail said he plans to meet Malacca BN Chief and Chief Minister Abdul Rauf Yusof and may discuss cooperation for the state election. In response, Akmal reiterated his position that if BN and Harapan work together in Malacca, he will not contest. For Akmal, principles come before political positions. He said he would rather defend his principles than hold a seat as an elected representative. The question now is whether BN and PH will team up in Malacca. And if they do, will Akmal really sit out of the contest? What do you think? Share your thoughts in the comment section below.
The repeal of the Universities and University Colleges Act is being welcomed as a chance for reform. However, Deputy Higher Education Minister Adam Adli Abdul Halim said the government must ensure that the new legal framework introduced does not replace it with another oppressive law.
According to Bernama, he said the framework must strengthen university autonomy, academic freedom, and more meaningful student participation in the governance of higher education institutions. Adam said the drafting process will involve broad consultations with all stakeholders, including students, university leaders, academics, and policymakers. The Higher Education Ministry is also looking at historical records, legal interpretations, and recommendations such as the One Higher Education Act proposed under the Malaysia Higher Education Blueprint. He added that all relevant parties must be involved to ensure there are no backdoor clauses that could undermine the reforms. He stressed that a new framework must be developmental and liberating and truly fulfill a university's potential as a place for the advancement of knowledge, healthy debate, and the freedom to learn and pursue academic activities. On Sunday, Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim said the government gave its assurance that the UUCA will be fully repealed without introducing any new laws that are restrictive or oppressive towards student movements.
And that is all from me today. For more stories, you can go to Kinitv.com. You can also follow us on Instagram, X, YouTube, and Facebook for the latest news updates. I'm John. Thanks for watching.